From here on out, every foul is flagrant, boy. Let's go. What's up? Came in a chokehold, more balls than Esco. All right, maybe
you are now tuned into the chat room, your favorite baller's favorite podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Chatroom Podcast. This is episode 4, and I am the Senator. And with me today, I got Essay.
Yo.
Got Dewayne.
Well, none.
Also got Coach.
Yeah.
So how y'all doing today?
Certified lover boy over here.
Yeah, the album cover just dropped, you know?
That can't be the album cover, man.
I bet you it is.
That cannot be the album cover. Was that designed by Virgil too?
Wow.
It may be. How y'all doing though?
Good, man. No complaints.
It's been all right.
Good, man.
All right. It's been what? You're about to say?
No, I was just saying it's been all right. Pretty packed week, you know. Been okay. One thing I miss from quarantine is just the no traffic. It seems like everybody forgot how to drive during lockdown and quarantine because not only the roads packed, but everybody just got worse at driving. So I had to do a lot of driving this weekend, trying to enjoy the Kanye album, but I had to be more focused on the road, man, because people out here are crazy. Straight up. Feels like Mario Kart half the time.
That's for real, yo. There's for anyone that's driven in Calgary, there's a lot of turning lanes that are like double turning lanes. And man, people don't know which lane to turn into. I've literally seen somebody turn from like the furthest turning lane into like the wrong lane and almost crash into me twice last week. And I was like, yo, y'all need to calm down.
People
man.
are crazy, man.
Learn to drive.
Jesus Christ. That's the new challenge, eh? Car challenge. Trying to get from A to B.
Hey, don't make that a challenge because it's just gonna get worse and worse. All right, let's get into some stuff. So from the time of this recording, last night was Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley.
Studley.
Were you able to watch the fight or watch highlights?
Oh, I watched the well, I won't call it a fight. I watched the choreographed hip hop dance that happened last night. The crunking session, because all I saw was Woodley like this most of the time. He'll hit him, get him wobbly, and then just stand there. That's why I call him Studley, man. He never capitalized, and now he's popping off the mouth. You can't talk after that performance yesterday, man. You had the power of the ancestors behind you, yo. You had you know that scene in Lion King, bro. You had Mufasa, you know. You had T'Challa. Everybody was standing behind you, waiting for you to knock this YouTuber ass out, and you had every opportunity, and you're here bragging about having him on the ropes, man.
It was safe to say that the ancestors stayed in their graves last night. They weren't trying to come out to help that fool. No way, no how during that match. The match was terrible. It was an awful fight from beginning to end. I didn't care about him rocking him, putting him on the ropes. Michael Jai White, he said this about a week and a half ago. He said, Tyron Woodley is a very frustrating fighter. He's actually worked with him. He's the one that kind of helped him a little bit with this fight. He was just showing him some stuff, some punching, the sparring a little bit. And he was basically saying, like, it's through all the fights he's watched Tyron Woodley throughout his career, there's always, like, especially those losses that he had, the more recent ones. It's frustrating because he's like, I know this guy can fight. The matches that we trained and worked on these things, and he doesn't use them. He's like, I'm watching it. I'm like, why isn't he using the stuff that we were training on? He just kind of freestyles and does his own thing. So I wasn't surprised that he kind of just fell into that same habit with this fight. He's just kind of nonchalant about it, like, oh, I'm the shit. I know it. Let me just kind of suss him out. Let me just see what he's working with. But you did that for 8 rounds. I mean, when were you gonna actually like start fighting? So it worked in his detriment. He lost.
Coach.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting much. I expected Woodley to knock him out within like 4 or 5 rounds. That's what I expected, but I don't think that was a lot to ask for. I mean, like shit, you're like a UFC fighter, like shit. Like I thought it was an easy ask, but the fact that it's even a question who won the fight, like I think Jake Paul won the fight, just off of points, whatever. But that fight should never have gone 8 rounds. Like the fact that it went the full distance is like.
I get the fear of becoming the next Nate Robinson. You know what I'm saying? I get that, especially since this is Tyron's first like boxing match. Because even the way he came out, you thought you were watching UFC for a second. The way he threw his first punch when the bell first rung. But I think the minute he saw that Jake has no technique, he has no defense, he's more show than actual like stance. Like there's so many openings, and I think at some point that fear should have dissipated, and you should have just like let loose. Like he even touched Woodley a few times, and he got a little stumble, but nothing dangerous, nothing to be fearful of, right? So at some point you should have known, not only do I have all the power in the world to knock this guy out through very weak, he was gassed, man. I swear there's a time when he literally took a snooze on the man's shoulder in one of those many wrap-ups. You had all the opportunity, bro. You had every opportunity to put this guy on his ass. And you just, even the last 10 seconds, he was just like, like nothing happened, man. Nothing happened. I said if he lost his fight, his black card would be in review. The results are in, and he has like I think at least a 4-year ban on black. He lost to MAGA twice. So I think that's the penalty.
I think we're about ready to trade him.
Who's gonna want him?
Senator, what do you think?
Maybe the North Koreans or something.
I watched the fight, and the first 3 rounds, I think he threw like 6 punches. And I was like, oh, so either he's trying to extend this, or he also knew that the fight was fixed. Because one of the things going into that fight was they said that the judges were inexperienced. And they said that about five times as each fighter was walking down to the ring. And I was like, oh, so you're gonna have inexperienced judges in Cleveland, where Jake Paul is from.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you completely knock him out, you're not winning.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that kind of the same way how you have the Tyson Roy Jones fight, there might have been something in there saying that you can't knock the person out. It might
wondering that.
You can only go by points, because once he had him almost falling out the ring, he did not really go to attack at all after that. So I was like, oh, okay, so something is up with this fight. So for me, it was just whatever. Woodley said that he will get the tattoo on his thigh if he gets the rematch. It's just, I don't know.
You're a hoe. You're a hoe for the viral moment, man. You're a straight up hoe. As Chris Brown said, you're a whole asshole.
I am so confused by that fight, the way how Kanye was confused that his album came out. Universal did to Kanye what Kanye did to Tiana Taylor, to Nas, to to almost everybody on that run that they were
Possibly
doing.
Fabio.
Because Kanye's album Donda dropped, and this is after it was pushed back 3 times in August. And
It
supposedly
was not pushed back.
he set his Twitter thing to say that it was going to come out September 3rd. And right after that, when that was noted, there was an ESPN hack that said CLB September 3rd, which is Certified Lover Boy, September 3rd by Drake. And then the album came out
On Gospel Sunday.
It was not pushed back. That was all part of the plan.
It was a plan. It was part
Like
of it.
there's a little like a 3-part theme going through all 3 listening parties, right?
But the part,
So-
what the thing is, I think he was really trying to come out the same day as Drake.
I believe that.
I think
I
he
believe
was
that.
super shocked when he looked in his phone and was like, "Oh shit, I can get my albums." All right, cool. Like,
Somebody gave
I just don't think he was ever planning to drop it in August. I don't think so. Well, yeah, I don't think I do believe he was trying to compete with Drake at one point. But I don't think it was an accident or it wasn't finished. I think when he did the first listening party, he did it with the full-on intention not to release the album. Right? So, I mean, remember, this album was supposed to come out last year. I swear they said it was supposed to drop last year and it didn't. I think it's smart by Universal to not drop it on September 3rd because Certified Lover Boy is
would have watched that.
it's gonna knock its socks off. I'm telling you right now. Especially this mess. It's a mess of an album, in my opinion. All right. Shout out MJ. I know he's punching air when he hears this. But I think it was a mess of an album. It wasn't cohesive. The very first track, Jesus, what was that?
It was craziness. I don't even know what to say. I was confused. I was confused. I'm like, is there something wrong with my phone? Like, is something skipped? Like, what's happening? I thought there was an error on the track. I'm like, oh, it's not done. But apparently that's all he wanted it to be. I said, oh, damn. I didn't think the album was finished. I thought there was like errors or something on it. So I'm surprised. Like, the only error that happened was the whole the jail song with the baby. Apparently, the baby was not wanting to get that cleared. So that was the only issue that we're having.
About Jay's verse, no? Jay had a verse on the album, no?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
The first listening party, it was his verse. And then
the second one was the baby. And then
the third one was the baby.
Third one was the baby. Yeah. No. Second and third one was the baby. And then the track came out with both of them on there, I believe. I honestly, to tell you the truth, I did not listen to the album. I went on Spotify. I saw everyone talking about it. I looked on Spotify. I was never waiting for this album at all. And I looked, and one thing I always do is I go down to see how long the album is. And I saw 1 hour and 48 minutes, and I said, I don't have 2 hours to dedicate to listen to a Kanye album. I will be completely honest with you when it comes to that, because I am still bumping Benny the Butcher's last project. I'm still bumping West Side Gun dropped an album that same weekend. I was bumping that. I was bumping the Division and Ty Dolla $ign album that came out last Friday. I was in no rush to listen to Kanye. I've never been. It's been a very long time since I sat down there and I said, I am going to listen to a Kanye when Kanye drops. So
I was anticipating this album. I think the listening party kind of ruined it a bit for me. At least, especially the third one, because Marilyn Manson was on. It is the imagery of Kanye in this wingtip fitted and a mask on, and Marilyn Manson just like playing on the porch like a schoolyard girl, and then that image with the track playing in the background and Kanye like jamming to it, hearing it on the album, it just I just didn't want to listen to it. Even Jail, like I didn't want to listen to Jail. Everybody's like, oh, Ho's verse is good and the baby snaps on part 2, but the first 3 tracks I skipped over. I almost skipped over the 4th track, but then I heard, Fabio has a probably the illest bar in the whole album on that track. And
Shensia got 2 verses on the album. Shensia is
Shensia
is on 2 tracks on the album.
yes. You know, people are hating on her for that, but yo, do your thing, Shensia.
Thing, bro.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Forget and you kill. So there are some standout tracks. I haven't finished it. I've been trying. It's not just like Senator. I guess I was just a little bit more proactive, but even starting it, I haven't. Like I had an hour and a half car ride, and I still haven't finished the album.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's rough. It's a really hard listen.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah,
like it's rough.
you have to be in an artistic vibe.
Yeah.
Like
I did the whole car thing too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, this is hard to listen to.
Yeah, I listen to it.
I drift off sometimes, and I'm oh shoot, new track already? Damn, like it's just
Yeah, word.
yeah.
I don't know, man. There's one of those ones where I know what to expect from certain artists coming out. Like I know what to expect when Drake is coming out. I know what to expect after listening to Kendrick's verse that came out on Friday. I know what to expect when Kendrick drops. Like Kendrick
Smoking on your top 5.
Yeah, Kendrick's in that mood where it's like I'm going at everybody for real. Like this is my last project on TDE. I'm about to show y'all why y'all can't put out albums with me. And I said this on the Not So Soft that if Kendrick and Drake are the 2 that can drop on the same day. Kanye doesn't need to be there. Last time Kendrick dropped, it was 603 albums sold first week. Last time Drake dropped, I think it was like 700 something. So that is the competition we want to see. Kanye, yes, you're gonna come with all your artistic stuff, but you lost some of the people. You have a core following, just like a J. Cole. You guys have your core followings that are always gonna tune in.
Facts.
But
shout out MJ.
I haven't been impressed by a Kanye album in a very long time. So
I mean, the Kanye fans will stay with this album.
Yeah.
Like we already know some. We've already talked to some Kanye fans. They're like, this album's fire. You all know what the hell you're talking about. So I'm
Before
like, all
they
right,
even heard it.
I get it. Yeah, I'm like, all right,
like-
that's cool. We know the Kanye fans will say this album's fire. That's fine.
People at 12 noon saying, I heard this album like 4 times. Bro, that's 8 hours.
Yo.
Hasn't even been out for 8 hours. How you hear it 4 times already?
I got a question for Coach.
So,
If you're putting out an album, right? You're an artist. You're one of the biggest artists. You're putting out an album, and you see somebody that you're competing with goes on a date in a stadium, and then you decide to move to the stadium, right? And then you say you think that person is fire. Are you gonna be like Kanye and light yourself on fire?
Why'd you pause for dramatic?
Yo, why did you pause, bro? I was like, is he thinking about this?
because that last listening party, Kanye lit himself on fire, had Kim come out in a wedding dress.
Yep.
Like there was a lot of
It was
going on.
There's a lot of stuff going on to try
Nuit Blanche type
this.
shit.
Like
Man.
I don't know, man, but
I mean,
It definitely felt like Nuit Blanche.
Kanye and Drake, they've had their back and forth, for a long time. Kanye was trying to be petty, and then Drake hit him with the Joker petty, and you can't drop
Drake's
an album.
king of petty though.
Yeah, he's king of petty. So you can't drop an album on the same day as Drake. I personally don't care who you are. Like Jay maybe can do that, but like Drake's pull, mainstream pop, like he has everything. Like he can drop a whole album talking about toilets and it's gonna bang.
Drake's a made man right now.
Yeah, like so certain guys when they're on top of the shit like what Drake is right now, like there was a time when Jay had the music industry on lock. Like he was on every remix, on everything. And like during that time, you can't drop an album on him on the same day as him. Drake is in that lane right now where You just gotta get out of his way. If he drops album, don't drop the album that day. If he's on the track and you can get on the track, get on the track. Like whatever he touches right now is gold.
If Kendrick drops an album, he will give Drake a run for his money.
I don't think so. I mean, like I think the album will, because we know Kendrick has bars. I'm not talking about Kendrick's music making ability, but I think in regards to numbers, I don't think so. If they put on the same day, I don't think so. Like I don't think Drake's a guy right now that you can compete with. Even though Senator dropped the numbers earlier, I think if they both put out track or album, the same day, I think Drake will blow him out of the water. Honestly, just because
I think the factor between the two, and I get exactly what Coach is saying, right? But I think the factor between the two of them is that Drake you can hear regularly. Mm-hmm. Kendrick is a moment every time he drops. And I think that plays a huge difference in who can compete with him, which is why I can put Kendrick up there as one of those people. I don't think, as much as J. Cole has his core following, I don't think he can. I think anybody in the supposed top 5 at this point.
His last project.
I think anybody supposedly in the top 5, the only person that can drop the same day Drake can drop is Kendrick. And
I think if you were to say Kendrick, for me, it would tie into the fact that it's his last TDE project. So like everyone's kind of gonna jump on and say, oh, like what's he gonna do? You know, like that hype isn't gonna build with that. But if you're just looking at body for body,
I don't know, because Drake before Scary Hours 2, Drake's been dropping shit, right? Like whatever in Greece was Pop Star or whatever.
Those are all throwaway tracks though. Those are all throwaways.
Yeah, but then and not to mention like his last couple like albums were like okay, right? They're like they weren't like oh my god, like that's crazy. You know, it was like
I agree.
They were still chart-topping albums. I mean, that's but you're saying okay, but the rest of the world, these albums are charting.
But then Kendrick's last album was what?
We both know that bar for bar, Kendrick has he's a better rapper. Like that's not a debate. That's not that's not a conversation we're having. The conversation is who do you think will sell more albums on the same day? And I think that is easily Drake because his following covers more lanes. If that makes sense. Like
I agree. I totally agree with you. I think we all agree that Drake would sell more. And even when I said the numbers, I put it out there that Drake sells more. I think as a competitive space, as far as the numbers are concerned, the only person that can keep it closer to Drake is Kendrick because of the fact that it's because of Bieber. Well, I think just because
R&B album, right?
I think just because of the numbers, right? Like I think just because of the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like
Kendrick. You all think if the baby didn't have his whole bullshit, that he can?
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
No. He would still will have a word before the baby has.
The baby was. Here's the thing: the baby would have slowly got to that point. For example, being on Dua Lipa's "Levitating," that's a huge hit. He would have had a lot more crossover records starting to open up at that point because people would see the success that he has on those tracks, so they were going to reach for him, right? I don't think he's at that point yet because he was only pretty much around like 150, like that number. He's not going to get that boost to get to 600 or 700 anytime soon, but he could have built up a following at that point where his crossover appeal would be massive, where that's when he would kind of slowly get into like that. I'm not saying Drake bag, but slowly into that Drake bag where you're kind of crossed over into everywhere, right? But those mistakes will cost him when it comes to it.
Mm-hmm. So his bag is definitely fucked up going forward.
Oh yeah. For sure. No. Also, I do want to refute one point that you said, Coach, just to go back a little bit, was dropping with Jay when Jay was everywhere. Man, there was a few people that were out around those times where they would have outsold Jay. Like Jay was never the main guy in hip hop. He was always in between the roles, but he's been the consistent guy throughout it all. But
when I said that, I there was a time in like early 2000s where
Like Blueprint
he was on everything. Yeah, he was on everything.
Yeah.
He was on everything.
Yeah.
And like, he was on
Well, when
everything.
X drops, he was second to X, and then
X, like X, like his, like he was like a firecracker, you know, like he had 2 number ones in the same year, you know, like that's never gonna be done ever again. But in terms of like the music that Jay was on during that time, he was on everything.
Oh yeah, his run was crazy. His run and Drake run, we'll probably never see runs like those.
Ever, like everything. Like,
I think the thing that
I'm saying there's certain people who have had runs like that too. Like T-Pain had a run like that where he was on everything for a while. Luda had a run where he was on everything for a while too. Yeah. So like there's certain people who have those kind of like those runs where they're like even what's that dude who was on the one-eyed dude? What's his name?
Fetty Wap.
Him too.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys had runs where they're on everything, but
Drake Fetty Wap's run should have been a lot longer, but they pushed out his whole like bag. They milked his bag in that first year. Like if they were able to spread that out, because then people started to take his style, and then he became old news quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But his run could have been crazy when we look back.
That was actually scary how fast that happened. How everyone just kind of
jumped on in,
just buried. He was just buried. There was like 1,000 Fetty Waps.
Yeah.
Like before you look, everybody became Fetty Wap. It was crazy.
That's true.
And that's why we gotta respect the people that had a longer run. Like you gotta respect like the T-Pains when T-Pain came in, because like that auto-tune stuff was always around, but the way how he used it and really made it a thing and then turned it around like that, and still he was everywhere. Like that was like people were considering him like the Nate Dogg of the 2000s at that point, because he was on every hook, killing like
he was. Bro.
And shout out to him for coming back. Like the man, he's coming back. It seems like
I like
back into music.
I like his new track with Kalani.
It's good. It's a really good track.
I like that. The Jerry Sprunger track on Chick's Tape.
Yeah.
Like he's always had a bag. He's always put out music, but I think now he's putting out a real effort of making sure you guys realize that he's back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying he went anywhere, but that he's here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about like what you said back with Fetty Wap, how he came out with a unique style, but it was easily able to duplicate, and he got buried and lost. That's why you gotta give more shout out to like Drake, because he Shang Tsung's people's flows. And I think that's why he survives so much, because he just takes flow after flow after flow, and just adapts it, or borrows it. So, but going back to Kendrick has multiple flows. Like even in that Family Ties joint, like how many flows did he go through? You know what I'm saying?
Went through like 8. I was like, this guy is going crazy right now. Like,
but then you have the Baby who only has his one flow. You know what I'm saying? And how long that's gonna last. So it is just a respect to the craft about how even the industry itself is evolving, where you just can't be like a one flow dude, you know what I'm saying? Or like to survive and to get to greatness, you have to constantly adapt, constantly multiply, constantly come, especially in this TikTok era. You know what I'm saying? Where like attention spans are at an all-time low. You gotta keep hitting them with something new, like all the time. So it's gonna be interesting to just see when the true showdown goes down, and I'm looking forward to it. I just hope that that's not the actual album cover for Certified Lover Boy.
Nah.
I
hope.
A picture
of Monty Bailey's mom.
Oh damn! Don't do that.
What?
So going back to
Brittany Renner.
Let's get to something that Essay just brought up. So Dewayne. Dewayne.
Yo,
you're stupid, man.
When are you setting up the milk crates?
Oh,
Bruh.
If you think my black ass gonna do those milk crate business, if that challenge, another thing coming. I ain't doing that ever. And
you
I'm
think
glad.
you could though?
I think I could.
Listen,
If they set up like all this safety equipment, if they put like pads upon pads upon pads, like it was like a
Not concrete.
official...
You're not on concrete. Or I saw one today that somebody showed me at work, and they set up the milk crate. They set up the crate challenge on like a dock, and if you finish going over, you end up in the water. But then if you fall off, you might hit your head and then fall into the water.
Jesus.
And the person fell off like on the third last one, hit his head and fell into the water. And I was like,
he was like inches away. His face would have been gone.
He would have like seen the pearly gates.
Snoop posted one too, like 2 years ago. He posted one where the man's like back of his head hit the back of his neck.
Yeah.
It was nuts, bro.
Honestly, with this whole milk crate, the crate challenge, it's like we've already had a death. There's already been one person killed from it. This girl, she cracked her head off the concrete. So we've already had one death. It's like, I get it. People want to do this for TikTok and all this stuff. They want to do it for likes. They want to just kind of get themselves out there for social media. But that's a really dangerous thing to do. And I'm seeing how they seem to be wanting to go higher with these things.
Yeah.
And these falls are at least 15, 20 feet on your head. So if someone's going to end up getting paralyzed next, that's what you're going to hear. Someone's paralyzed from this. It's just a really dangerous thing to do. And it's good that TikTok had decided to not post the video. They're banning people from posting those videos because they're just enticing people to keep doing it if you're going to keep putting it out there. So at least TikTok's kind of wanting to do something to like alleviate people or stop people from doing the challenge to begin with. But you know how this stuff spreads like wildfire. Once it starts, it's hard to stop, and people are going to keep doing it. We've already seen a lot of interesting versions of the challenge.
I saw the one that made me say, are we serious? This is what you're really doing.
That's the one
that was the gender reveal. Reveal one.
I think that was
doing a
skit. I think that was a skit.
Where the guy revealing that now
on the box.
Oh, the guy had something, and he was supposed to go over, and then he was going to be able to break it himself, right? Yeah. And he went up. He took a step off the highest one, just fell over, hit his head, and then all you saw was blue powder around him. So the man wasn't even awake to see what he's having. Like everyone else was revealed. He was the one that did not find out. He was so surprised. The only reason why the man probably knew was he saw the blue powder on his clothes as he fell through. Like,
could you imagine if the guy landed wrong and paralyzed himself and he has a baby on the way? All for a gender reveal? That's the crazy thing that people are not thinking of.
Hey, bro,
what if he seriously injured himself?
People almost set forest fires on for these gender reveals, man.
Oh man, we ain't gonna talk about the forest fires for the gender reveal, but yo, it is crazy. And my question is, do y'all think that you could do it?
Oh, I absolutely can.
If it was set up, do you think you could do it?
If it was set up safe and secure, I could do it.
Are you saying how high would the middle one be? How many crates do you think you could do?
Whatever's regulation.
I'm giving Sean 2 crates in the middle.
2 crates in the middle?
To the top.
So he only has 3? 1, 2, and then down 1.
Hold on a second.
You're gonna have to jump down.
Bro, you still have 1 crate, man. You talking about my little...
No, listen, I know myself.
I got a low center of gravity.
I know myself. I got a big butt. I can't do it.
Okay.
I'm all over the place. I got a big butt. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm all over the place. I'll be wobbling.
You got cushion.
I'll be like this.
Cushion for the fall.
No, at the top, I'll be like this. I'll be wobbling at the top. I'll be wobbling. I can't do it. I think I used to be. I could probably do that 10 years ago, but me now, man. No. I got that Charles Barkley, but I can't do it.
Oh my gosh. All right, so we're gonna end this segment right here. But what we will say is for
The round
that's
crate
listening
challenges.
to the chat room podcast,
Don't-
email us your favorite crate challenge that you saw, or
but
tag
just don't
us.
do it.
But
Don't
please don't do it.
Leave
Please
the
don't do it.
DJs and the milkmen alone.
Yeah, we
And
don't
we want-
condone anyone. We don't condone anyone doing this crate challenge. Do
Shout out
not
to
do it,
Mary.
guys.
She sent the best crate challenge video to us.
Yo, honestly, I think if this is Jamaica, you're gonna see a lot of pasa dancehall videos of the man doing the crate challenge
yeah,
to
I must
drop
say.
down on a dagger.
Shout out to Jasmine Banks.
Mm.
And we want to say, please don't do this. And if you are gonna do this, please make sure that there's a lot of safety stuff around, because there
Coach,
has.
You're
and
cut
we-
off.
Most importantly, we want to say rest in peace to the people, because there has been a few people that have lost their life, whether it's been directly from the crate challenge, or there has been people that forgot that there's beef, that they're in beef, and they were up
Mhm.
there, and there's been shootings.
Mhm.
Jeez.
So please be careful.
Also been
Now-
some passed around.
Now let's get to some basketball stuff. So we got a Lakers fan on here, and
Yeah, we do.
so their team
That's why he's
signed,
already drunk, because he's been celebrating.
their team signed a lot of people, and they've been rumored for like every single player. Every single player that is a free agent has been rumored to go to Lakers.
Mhm.
They've picked up a few players, but they have now just picked up Rondo. And according to the reports, they're in talks to pick up DeAndre Jordan. If DeAndre Jordan gets bought out by
Shout out to team.
Why
Right.
not?
Brooklyn.
Why not?
So now, if we look at the centers, if we
Isn't
look
only
at the
15 spots on the team.
Hey, we have 2 spots left, bro.
Jesus.
because the GOAT Jared Dudley decided that he wanted to become a coach and coach the Mavs,
Just
It
decided it.
it opened up an extra spot for the second spot that DeAndre Jordan could potentially take. How do y'all feel about this Lakers team for the 2021-2022 season?
Coach, how do you feel?
I feel good, man. You know, this is
Acting like Don Chio in Space Jam.
this is the the Lakers vengeance tour, man, and I'm here for it.
Vengeance
Vengeance.
against nature. Like,
Word. Vengeance against COVID.
vengeance against Father Time. Like, what's your vengeance?
But you know what I appreciate? You know what I appreciate about that is that they're on a revenge tour against Father Time. So they signed a bunch of people that are working
We're the
against.
same
It was
age
like-
almost.
It was like everybody. It's like
The
Father Time
average age
versus
is like
Father Time.
33.
Let's see who's gonna win right here. But
How many times do you think LeBron asked Dwayne Wade if he's coming out of retirement?
0. We don't want Wade, man.
it's the next season of the Cube. It's just gonna be all Lakers. It's no. But Coach,
Nah,
give us a breakdown about your team, man.
I mean, I feel good. I mean, we're gonna have talent, we're gonna have size, we're gonna have everything we need. Shooting, just about whether Westbrook and Rondo can coincide, you know, because if you remember back in the bubble when Lakers played Houston, like when Rondo was cussing out Westbrook's brother,
Yeah.
like, they have like beef or whatever. So that's gonna be interesting. But I think the one thing that I've learned, man, with coaching college ball and the recruiting process and all that stuff, coming into coaching college ball 4 years ago, I always thought that like you gotta build your team. Like, you know, you got to find a great point guard, you got to find a great shooting guard, you got to find shooting. Yeah, you got to find all these things. Where realistically, how I've seen it play out the last 3 years, I've been here to say it is that you just get talent, bro. Accumulate talent, and great players will find a way. Great players will find a way to make it work. They're great for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, it might not be the perfect fit, You know, nothing in life is usually the perfect fit. And when it is, it's bullshit. But great players will find a way to make it work. And like I feel like I don't feel strongly about the team, but at the end of the day, I feel that you look at our roster, you can't name me 8-9 a roster with 8-9 other like better players than what the Lakers have right now. So in that, I'm confident in that. So we'll see how the year goes, you know, because injuries are a real thing. You saw that last year. I'm confident, man. Should be a fun year.
Y'all reenacting the end of Endgame, eh? Getting everybody out the woodwork.
That's definitely the main thing for the Lakers this season. They gotta stay healthy.
All you're hearing is LeBron to your left.
Honestly, I'm being real, like I don't think you have to stay healthy. Like
you don't think AD has to stay healthy? You don't think
not even just has to stay healthy. He hasn't been a Disney right now.
If you really look at it, like if you like, I don't like Westbrook. Like you guys know, like SA and I talk about Westbrook. Like we don't like Westbrook, no. But Westbrook alone can win you 30 games. In the season, his energy, how he plays, he can win you 30 games. Like and to me, that's without LeBron, without AD. Like you have those two guys sitting, and you got Westbrook with a bunch of shooters and Melo, and they can win you games. So I'm not worried about them, like injury wise. You know, like even if, knock on wood, if one of those guys get hurt, which is inevitable, like somebody's gonna get hurt. You know, I'm confident with those guys. Like Melo might not be able to give you 20 every night, but there's some nights he might give you 30. You know what I mean? Like Braun might not give you 30 a night, but Braun on the court can get you 20, 23, 5 and 5 in his sleep, 80 when he's engaged. Like all these guys are skilled. So like you can plug and play certain guys. Like I'm not worried about injuries, you know, like unless it's like a catastrophic injury, like Braun goes down for the year, you know, that would be rough. But I think we'll be fine. Not like Brooklyn, where like if one of those guys go down, they're done.
So what you're saying is that the Lakers are built for contingencies. You got these certain guys in the team that can kind of fill the void if somebody does go down.
I don't know if one of those guys goes down, you're done.
I don't think
like I don't think if one. I think if two, then you have. But like if like Kyrie goes down, Harden and KD can still ball. If I think KD going down would be the most dangerous.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
But if Harden goes down and Kyrie is not like in a mood, then you're fine. But like I don't think it's like, oh, once one of those guys goes down, the count nets out.
You can't have two go down in Brooklyn. You're toast. You can't have two.
I think Brooklyn and Lakers situation are completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think for Lakers, if two of them go down, that's where they really get hurt. For Brooklyn, if KD goes down, like that's the difference. I think LeBron, and we're not wishing injury on anybody. These are all hypotheticals.
He's gonna miss games.
Just put it out there, right?
Yeah.
But if KD goes down, that whole like the way how teams can focus on certain players are different. Because KD is the factor, and we saw that especially during the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had a hobbled Harden and pretty much a healthy KD. I'm not going to even put him at 100% healthy because that was his first year back from Achilles injury, and he played back-to-back like full games. But you saw the impact that he had on the team. They almost won if it wasn't just for his big toe hitting the line, right? If KD's out, I don't think Harden and Kyrie could do that. But I think for the Lakers, if AD or LeBron are out, like Coach said, I do think Russ with the team that they have right now could win more games than if KD goes down for Brooklyn. Like it's just like the plug and play. Even if Westbrook and LeBron goes down with that signing of Rondo, we saw what Rondo and AD are able to do. We saw that before they even got to Lakers. We saw that in New Orleans. Like they have a lot of plug and play better than what Brooklyn has. If KD goes down,
I will say if AD or Braun get hurt and like say they don't play in the finals, Lakers can't win.
Yeah.
Right? They can't win.
Right.
But like I think if you have this roster and say you have this roster and AD doesn't play against Phoenix, I think this roster can beat Phoenix. If you have this roster and Braun doesn't play against Phoenix, I think this roster can beat Phoenix as well. It's the same Phoenix squad from last year. So like I'm not concerned about them being injured. I just my biggest thing is that they're there to play when it matters in the finals.
Yeah.
And if they're there in the finals and they play in the final, I'm not concerned at all. But if they're missing games and they're not there in the finals, then I think Milwaukee still has the best chance to win all this year if Lakers are not healthy. I don't see Brooklyn as a threat anymore.
I don't know.
I don't see him as a threat.
I don't know. Westbrook has a terrible postseason record.
1,000%.
AD hasn't returned from Disneyland. Because even before injury, he wasn't really like you were frustrated with him, right? Like what is Rondo really still Rondo? Like that was 2 years ago, like there are still, like, as much as you guys are assembling this all-star cast, there are a lot of also what ifs and question marks, so I don't know if it's such a sure thing. All I know is it will be exciting to watch, the upcoming season, see how it all plays out for sure.
So I want to get to
except for the Raptors.
Oh, sorry.
I'll just end with this. Like, I don't expect those guys to be all-stars. I don't expect Rondo or Westbrook or Melo or Dwight Howard. I don't expect those guys to be all-stars. What I do expect is that they'll like if you look at even you watch Jordan when he was playing with the Wizards, he wasn't Jordan.
No.
But there are still nights where he can go out there and give you 35, 40 points on a night. And my expectation is that on any given night, Dwight Howard might give you 15 and 10. Rondo might give you 15 and 10. Melo might give you 25. Westbrook might give you 30, 10 and 10. Like any given night. And then you have Braun giving you 25, 5 and 5. AD giving you 20 and 10. You have Wayne Ellington goes 5 for 8 from 3. You have Malik Monk gives you 12 points. Like that's what I expect. I expect everybody to be able to produce because there's so much talent on the court. And like I'll kind of go back quickly to me coaching at State. Like when we've been most successful, it's because we've had 3-4 guys on the court that can give you 20 points. So who are you really gonna stop? So the Lakers, man. I'll leave it at that.
So I want to get to the ridiculous statement of the week. And I saw this, I laughed for probably 5 minutes at work, and nobody understood why I was laughing because obviously no one looks at my phone, right? Portland has now come out and said, we are focused on building around Dame Lillard. Now? like not the amount of time.
5 years.
Yo, their plan. They have the Woodley plan.
Word.
So
they wait till the moment passes to finally capitalize.
If that was really, really the case, they would offer everybody on that team. They'd offer CJ. They offer everybody to try and make moves because clearly what they have right now is not working.
Nope.
My question, one of the reasons why I laughed so hard about that was not because the statement was made. When free agency started, their big signing on day one was Cody Zeller.
The dude barely played in Charlotte.
So you're telling me that you are super focused on building a team around Dame. And shout out to Dame. His album was fire. Let me just let you guys know that his album was
like what level of fire? Like Donda fire or
no? I mean like
Eric Gordon fire. What level of fire are we talking about?
Yo, stop. Don't disrespect Dame Dollar like that, man.
Let me just let you. No, you gotta check it out.
Skill.
Let me just tell you, you guys gotta go check out the Dame Dollar album. He managed to get a feature from Raphael Sadiq. He managed to get
that's
a feature.
live. Wow.
He managed to get a feature from Q-Tip. Managed to get a feature from
What?
Snoop. Like,
Okay,
let me tell.
now I gotta listen to it.
Let me tell you, it is a fire album, and this ain't like a basketball player rapping type stuff. Like it is. I probably bumped it
Not the Kobe album?
Probably bumped
Jack
it eight times since it came out. And the only reason why I didn't bump it more was it was the same weekend when Division dropped and Division and Ty Dolla dropped and Benny the Butcher.
Mm.
But if this was like a week when neither of those guys dropped, I would have bumped it more. It is dope.
I listen to it. This guy said Raphael Sadiq. Jeez.
Interesting.
Yeah, Raphael Sadiq is how they close out the album. It's him and that's what I'm saying. So
okay.
But yeah, how dare the Portland GM come out and say now we're truly focused on building around Portland? From the time he signed an extension,
GMs need to stop talking.
Y'all should have been focused on building around Portland.
Unless you're Messiah. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I had no clue what to say back to it. I just laughed.
I mean, honestly, like ever since Portland, like you remember back in the day, Portland had like a fire roster. They had like LaMarcus Aldridge, they had Greg Oden, they had Nicholas Batum, they had Wesley Matthews, they had Dame, and all these guys. And then they had that one off season where Aldridge left, Batum left, Wesley Matthews left. So that was literally just Dame there.
Was that the year when Oden
got hurt?
Oh, got hurt, and then the next year he retired. Yeah.
So like from that point on, when you're like, okay, this is the only brother we got who can hoop. That's when you start building around him. Not when it's like 5 years, 6 years later, when this man is like, where like he's on his last branch, where he's contemplating leaving your roster, leaving your team. You don't start trying to build your team then,
which I think he should have done.
Or like even if you do, like even if you guys are a horrible GM and you do start building your roster, then you don't publicly say it.
No.
That just let Dame know, like, shit, I've been here for 5-6 years, busting my ass. Like last year in the playoffs, I had like a 60-point game and we lost. Like, I do all this and you guys are just starting to build around me now. Like, I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here.
And the thing is, you can look at what they say Dame statistically does as far as his career stats. Not saying points or anything. I'm saying like all-star features, no MVP, that type of stuff, right? But you can also look at the fact of the amount of players that he played with that were nowhere close to or were on the tail end of being all-stars, right? Like, it's crazy. It is crazy that for you to make a statement like that at this point right now, knowing how, and this is not about like us as people that watch the sport, but other players, how they feel about Dame. Like people come out and say that boy is cold, that guy is a killer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even in the bubble when I think it was the Lakers that they faced the first round and he was hobbled and it was like, yo, Dame, we still got to pick you up from half court. Like, we're going to double team you from half court. You're still injured. We're still double teaming you from half court. Like,
he had to fight to get them there, man.
Come on. And like, crazy thing is that like Portland is in a tough position right now, man, because one, they don't have a lot of assets. Like,
no,
we can trade CJ McCollum for. Like, you might trade him to a roster. Like, not a lot of teams need a small shooting guard.
Yeah,
and then like you got Norm Powell. Like, teams would like Norm Powell because he's a 3-and-D guy, athletic, works hard. Like teams will like him. And I think that last year
best 3-point percentage.
I say like last year he was like top 3 in like 3-point percentage. I think he led the league in like corner threes made or whatever. Like, he's ascending as a 3-and-D guy. So teams will like him for sure, but you're not gonna get a guy for him. You're not gonna get a marquee guy for him. Your only trade asset you got on that team is Dame. He's the only guy who you can trade and get something for, like a roster changer for. And like, there's that. And like, who really wants to sign in Portland?
That's what I was just about to say. It's not a sexy place to go play ball.
Yeah,
No one wants to go there.
These are two things where like they're running against you, and to me, it's like it's not if Damon's going to leave, it's when is he going to leave?
When?
Like, when
Because
is
he
gonna
said
make
yet.
the choice?
He said he's not leaving yet.
He did say it, and it's like there's no roadmap to get better. Like you look at Lakers when they had D'Angelo Russell and they had like these guys who like they had like 2 back-to-back number 2 picks in D'Angelo Russell and Brandon Ingram. So they have assets, and it's LA. So like you have 2 things going for you where people want to play in LA because it's LA. People value D'Angelo Russell and Brandon Ingram and Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance and these guys because they're young pieces, but Portland doesn't have any of that, bro. And they have a new coach. It's like there's nothing to build on, man. Like they're in a tough place right now.
It's a difficult thing, exactly like what you said, and I totally agree with you guys. I just thought that was a ridiculous statement of the week for you to come out and say that. Like, just stay quiet.
Just don't say
You don't gotta say nothing. Just stay quiet.
All right.
Yeah.
Just move in silence, man. Like real G's.
Yeah, like
I wonder what Dame's reaction was when he fucking saw that beat
like
report.
Dave's reaction was probably like mine. Look at the phone and just laugh. Like, wait, what? All right, next season, if y'all don't get some pieces, if trade deadline comes and passes and you guys don't get a piece, like I don't even need pieces. If you don't get one single piece to help me out, like I am over this. But yeah, no. So that's that. But because we talked about, let's just talk about a bunch of sports things. So we got one more topic that I'm going to bring up, and we're gonna just jump to football real quick because the season is starting this week. So, how y'all feeling about the football season coming up? I know Coach is not feeling the greatest because there's been some key injuries to his team. I'm not feeling the greatest just because I was expecting a little bit more of a turnover, and there's no Julio to cheer for at this point, even though I love
SA's happy right now, man.
Calvin Ridley.
Huh?
SA, you're happy, man. You just got Gardner Minshew, man.
Yeah, I'm
Eagle Nation is over there. Happy that they traded Wentz because Wentz got injured already.
but I'm just curious to see how Hurts does, as the guy. As an Eagle fan, you learn not to get excited too quickly. So you learn to just let's see what happens.
Hold on. Can I ask Dewayne, do you have a football team?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I don't have no football team. I don't watch football till about this year, week 17, week 18, Super Bowl. I watch football.
Okay, so you go into playoff football.
Yeah,
rather than
that's what
season
I watch
football. Okay.
As long as
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Bucks. Good. Or the Cowboys.
Nah.
I'm actually more happy with the Cowboys situation.
I think.
Lord!
I think one of the.
Jerry West.
I think one of the.
He's gonna still rag on him.
Oh.
Sure.
Oh. I'm so glad that you just mentioned that because I totally forgot that, and I do want to add that to the docket real quick. But let's talk about football real quick, and then I'm going to end off with that one. So, Coach, how do you feel about your team and the season?
I think coming in, talent is there. I'm not worried about talent. We just signed Justin Houston. He's going to be a great addition. He's going to give us 9-10 sacks, especially after we lost what's his name? Fucking Matt Judon to Patriots. That was tough, but we drafted Rashard Bateman. He got hurt. Fucking our first round receiver got hurt. Probably back week 4. Our tight end from last year, Nick Boyle, he got hurt. He'll be back week 4. Our slot corner, Jimmy Smith, got hurt in preseason. He'll be back week 4. Our starting running back got hurt in a fucking preseason game. It doesn't fucking matter. He's out for the year, torn ACL. So it's tough.
I need to sage the stadium.
It's tough.
Sage it.
Bro, and if there's any position group where I'm like, okay, like we can withstand an injury, it's our running backs because we've had number one rushing group in the last 2 years, and
it's still a big loss.
It's a huge loss. It's a huge loss. But like our quarterback had 1,000 rushing yards the last 2 years, and like we literally just gave Gus Edwards extension this year, so we paid him for moments like this. So I'm not necessarily worried because we still have our rushing yard attack is still going to be great because you have number 8 in your team, and we got Sammy Watkins. So our team is better, but us losing J.K. Dobbins, it hurts our versatility because J.K. Dobbins is like, for those who don't know, like he's like Alvin Kamara. And when I say that, like he does everything. He's a power. He can be a power back. He can be a elusive back. He can be a speed back. He can receive out of the backfield. He's a great blocker. He's not afraid to like mix it up with like the D line. Like he has a little bit of everything, and that makes him so versatile. That makes our offense so versatile. With Gus Edwards, he's not that. He's just I'm gonna run it right through you, and I'm gonna pick up these 3 yards, and I'm gonna run right through the linebacker. He's like one of those kind of guys. So it's tough. It's tough. I still think Kansas City is a team to beat, but not happy right now.
I will say for my team, and for all those that may not know, it's the Falcons. It's been the Falcons.
Man's consistent. Give him that.
Probably the biggest takeaway from this season was that Kanye lived at Mercedes-Benz Arena Stadium. But I'm just excited to see how Calvin really takes over as number one receiver, taking over from Julio. Like he was number one receiver last year, but the league still feared Julio, so they would double team Julio and allow Calvin, and then Kyle Pitts as our tight end. I'm excited to see how those two play. I don't have big expectations. Whatever.
Bro, they're saying he's a Hall of Fame lock. He hasn't played a fucking football game yet.
Yeah, he came in with the hype, but the problem with the hype without having like the weapons around it is that people can focus on you, and that's where I always want to make sure that we look at what they did last year. Last year, a lot of the calls were predictable. Like I could have called the defense to go against them, and I only play Madden, so it's a whole nother situation, and we just got to be a little bit more unpredictable. But to end off this episode, I do want to talk about something that Dewayne brought up, and he mentioned the name, and this triggered a thought process in me. And as you can tell, we're just going because that's just how we are. The rumors are that Max Kellerman is out on First Take soon.
Get him out of there.
And
we get him out of there.
The rumor is
I don't like Max, bro.
And the rumor is the replacement is going to be Magic.
That's
Lord. That is bad. I prefer Michael Irving.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing.
There's been three rumored replacements. But the biggest one that has got a lot of news stories was Magic. But the other two were Michael Irvin and Kendrick Perkins.
Oh God.
Hell no.
Now I see why Magic.
Michael Irving is where we want to go.
Yeah.
If the options are Magic Johnson and Kendrick Perkins, let's just take Michael Irving.
How are those the only options? What's going on here? Is there a shortage or something?
You would think that's what we're looking at. Like there's got to be other.
They're making Max Kellerman look way better. I'm telling you that.
Max Kellerman, he is great at what he does. What his persona is, he's great at it. He is the smartest man in the room. He knows it, you know it, and he makes everyone knows it. He's the smartest man in the room. And his takes are not even all that bad most times, but the ones that he has that are horrible, they're like so egregious. Like they're so bad. It's like you can't overlook them. Like Like Stephen A. Smith has every sportscaster
Everybody has bad takes.
Everyone has bad takes, but his
If you
takes
look
are
on
like
YouTube and you look at the
horrible.
compilation of bad takes
I-
on First Take, it is
He
hilarious.
should be seeing
And
Max.
I
shout
think he
out
does that
Ryan
on
Hollins
purpose.
as a Hall of Fame
Oh.
person on
Damn.
Trash.
Ryan Hollins.
Shout out to
I
Ryan
think
Hall.
they do it on purpose because it's a live show and you can't have both people agreeing because then it's a snooze fest. They need
There's
to.
nothing-
I agree. Sometimes he takes it a little too far. Sometimes he says
A
some like you want crack or you
the
want
Kawhi,
like
the Kawhi over Kobe one was ridiculous.
Okay, all right. We don't have to go through them.
And then, listen, and then Jay Williams.
We want to trigger our listeners.
Jay Williams is like, name them. Match like, name them.
If I'm a exec at ESPN, right? I think a lot of things with that show needs to be overhauled. Like I understand you paid
Molly.
Stephen A. You paid Stephen A. the
I was
back.
waiting for someone to say it.
You paid
Get
Stephen
rid
A.
of
the
Molly.
back. But I think that that is not your issue. Like
He has too much pull.
you're paying him 12, supposedly 12 mil a year, which
Yes,
is the highest paid person in the network. No, not on TV. Just on that network. Romo's getting 17 mil for football.
Yeah, but didn't Stephen A. sign like a 60 mil? It's like 60 mils though, like total.
I think it was like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's a 5-year deal of 60
right?
mil. But Romo signed 17 mil for 5 years. So that still makes him higher percentage wise. And he's only doing football.
That's crazy.
But
Stephen A's doing everything.
Stephen A wakes up, you see him on Get Up, then he does first take,
Word.
then he does the jump, then he'll be
Water,
He literally
down,
works from 8 to 8 to 4.
Kool-Aid.
which is why
He's trying to have his own show too.
oh yeah. He does. He has Stephen A
does.
World, which is on ESPN
For
Plus.
half an hour.
That's why I always
All
laugh at
watered
that.
down.
Anytime I watch Charles Barkley statement when he was like, "You're not gonna work me like a dog," when they were talking about if you'd ever work at ESPN. He's like, "You see me on ESPN 1, you see me on ESPN 2, you see." But I think they are trying at this point right now. I think they realize that they're kind of competing against Undisputed when it comes to because they both come on at the same time. And the personality of Shannon Sharp and Skip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out Jenny Taft, because Jenny Taft does a good job with moderating.
Molly,
right?
take notes. Jenny Taft should be your lesson number 1. Don't constantly interrupt with your bad takes.
Everybody
Don't-
like you should be looking at Jenny Taft, looking at Joy Taylor, looking all the Carrie
And
Taft,
all these girls, all these women.
everybody.
I would even put Charlie Arnett, which is the person
Charlie
that usually
Charlie does great.
which is
She does
usually
great.
replaces Molly when she's away.
She does a great job.
I think Charlie kills it in her role. But the only problem with Charlie is that we've never actually seen her do numerous
She's
things.
only like a baseball girl, right?
Well,
she was on WWE.
she was WWE and then she transferred over. But like we haven't actually seen her with Stephen A. and Max at the same time. You normally see her when it's like one and somebody else. It's a little bit different when there's both there, but we've seen people in the past that have been able to moderate and do that job really well, like Carrie Champion and stuff like that, right?
Even what's that girl's name who was supposed to be with Skip and she was on All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and them. What's her name, man? Black girl. And she had the beef with Trump.
Oh, Jamel Hill.
Jamel Hill, yeah, her. Even
Jamel
her.
Hill.
She's tough too.
There's there's a lot of people that you could draw from, right? And we're starting to see it, and we've seen it even more with the fact that Rachel Nichols got taken off and Malika Andrews had to was hosting the Jump. Now, rumors has come out that the Jump is going to be taken off TV.
All together. It's crazy, though.
Crazy, yeah.
But I just, going back to the original topic, if you could partner somebody with, if you were in charge of ESPN and you had to make changes to it, and you know Stephen A is your mainstay, that is a person that's going to stay. Who would you replace the moderator with, and who would you make the person that's on the show with him?
The moderator can be literally anybody, but I like Carrie, like especially when she did that segment with KD and Braun.
Yeah.
Like
that was really good.
Yeah, like to be a moderator, you gotta be able to like compel people to talk and no one to shut up, and like no one to kind of play that role. And I think Carrie does a great job with it, and she has respect of like the athletes, like she has that respect. So I think she can be great in regards to like who can go up against Stephen A. Smith. It's tough. You gotta have somebody with a big personality, like Michael Irvin is great. Kind of, because he has a big personality and he's
goes
very
off sometimes.
But the only thing I'll just say is that like he goes off, but like as an athlete, as a basketball player, like I can't really rock with him most times because he's a football player. For the same reason why I don't like Brandon Marshall when he's on First Things First. Like some of the stuff he says, I'm like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, you're a professional athlete, so you know more than me.
Yeah.
But in terms of like knowing basketball, you don't know what you're talking about. And like that's my issue with Brandon Marshall on First Things First, and that's why he's gone. He's off that show now. Now it's like it's only Chris Broussard now. But in regards to First Take, like I don't know who can go up against Stephen A. Smith.
I got a thought. I don't know how people would think about this if they were to do it. To me, I think it would work. But a guy like Jalen Rose, I think he would do well on a First Take. Jalen Rose, we already know he knows basketball. I love his takes when it comes to basketball. He's level-headed. And Jalen Rose knows football. He's a big football guy.
Yeah.
So those are like the two main sports they really talk about in First Take.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think Jalen Rose will be, and we already know the beef they had in the past. So we already know that Jalen Rose is not going to take the bullshit. We already know that. Like he's going to push back on a lot of those takes. So I can see
more
Jalen
with
Rose
Skip
getting
though.
plugged in.
His beef was more with Skip than
With Skip,
yeah.
It was Skip, yeah.
Than Stephen. Like
No,
Stephen
I meant
A.
on the show. I'm sorry, I meant on the show.
Yeah.
On the show.
I agree with you. And here, I'll give you mine before, and then Essay, I'll let you close it out.
One thing with Jalen Rose is that I would say all Stephen A. guys say is 81.
That's true, but like it's just after a while, it's just gonna make him lose because you just keep bringing up the same point, right? I honestly was gonna say the exact same thing as Dewayne, but as the moderator, honestly, I would put Jacoby. If you watch Jacoby and Jalen, like Jacoby is really good at like transitioning, at knowing when to just allow Jalen to
on his tangents, his rants,
go on his tangent. Like he's been in the media for such a long time. Like if I was running ESPN, I may approach him and say, hey, why don't we make First Take the biggest show, but we can also you can still do your podcast, but here we go. Like here is where you can get even more viewers and combine it. Because I think that could work perfect, because they only switched to a girl after they switched to Carrie, but there used to be a guy that moderated it before. Like when Skip was there, there was a guy moderating it for a while, and then they skipped and then they switched.
And they're trying to go,
right?
Yeah, because they had that, and then they wanted to go to a girl, and they went to. The offer was to Jamel Hill.
Yeah,
like she was supposed to be the moderator.
Yeah,
I don't like. She talks about it a lot, but I don't remember what happened. But she went there one day, and they're like, "Yeah, we've gone in another direction," and they went with.
She was shocked, but she was surprised because she thought she was going to be the moderator. But it's just, I think combining Jacoby and Jalen and having that Stephen A factor on there would work wonders for the program, because I think people would
give that show flavor.
Yeah,
to me, and we already know Jalen Rose always comes with like the best playlists. It's like for the music for the show, so we already know it's gonna be live. So yeah, I think it could work.
Who stepped up to Shaq? It was a girl. It was a woman. Who stepped up to Shaq?
Candace Parker.
Yeah,
Candace
what about
Parker.
her?
Yeah, I think Candace Parker.
She's dope. But the only problem is she's still playing, so it's hard for her.
She can't dedicate enough time to it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And she's contracted by TNT.
Yeah.
So
that was like a fantasy choosing, but
she's tough.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Jalen Rose wouldn't take any bullshit from Stephen A. He wouldn't be truncated by like the glitz and glam, and that's his show. I think he'd have the guts to say what he's got to say and disagree. One of my favorite moments is when he put Paul Pierce in his place, so he automatically are qualified. And in terms of Molly, bro, you can literally just type words in a computer and have that TikTok computer voice read them. I don't care.
Oh
my god, you're disrespectful. You're very disrespectful.
We don't mean that. The female listeners, man.
It has nothing to do with her being a female at all. It just has to do with she's a bad moderator. And I'm really saying anybody else, right? Anybody else. It has nothing to do with her being a female at all. I just
computer.
I really hope Molly don't happen to get this part in her recommendation, because god damn.
Molly has like literally stuffed some of the best takes that's been going on. She's very intrusive. She's interrupted. She blows up situation. Look at what happened with freaking LeVar Ball.
Yes, 1,000,000%. I didn't want to go into it, but
yeah,
that's my biggest gripe with her.
Yeah, exactly. It had nothing to do with her being a female. It has to do with the fact that she's just a bad moderator. Period. She doesn't recognize what the role demands, and there's no attempt, or like she has to see the feedback. And yet I haven't seen any change. I haven't seen a week where I'm like, oh, you know what? She's starting to like actually let the guys talk and actually put in her takes at the right point. No. It's the same. It's just part of the reason why I don't listen to First Take anymore. You know what I'm saying? And going back to just Irving, as much as that's the best pick of the three, if those are the three, that's not going to touch Undisputed. Not even close.
No.
Right?
No. Just because of personality.
Yeah.
Like Skip. I mean, not Skip. Shannon has transitioned into TV personality. It is insane. And then with Club Shay, that podcast.
Yep.
Yo,
it's just
they got some
he's got some traction on there. Got some really good traction on there.
And then Skip knows how to play the algorithms. So when you have those two combined, there's really nothing touching it. And like I said, with the fact that Jenny is such a good moderator on that show, as a replacement from Joy, when Joy was on that show, they seamlessly transition between moderators compared to other shows, right? So but yeah, we've reached the part of the podcast where we get to promote our social medias and anything else that we're working on. So S.A., you want us to kick us up?
Oh boy. All right. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we still have a podcast. Just life kind of hit me with a spirit bomb. But it is in the works. We are gonna announce a new addition to the whole podcast format. But if you want to catch up in the meantime, you could check out our personal IG or the podcast IG Chatter Talks. You can check out our website, chattertalks.tv. We're on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, and the works. And then my personal IG is Pro Chatterbox.
Okay. Dewayne.
All right, you guys could just follow me on my Instagram, Chaz_Tenenbaum, Cabby certified.
Proper. Coach.
Did you see Coach's face when he said that? That's what I'm reacting to.
He hates it more than anything. He hates that.
I gotta get somebody to certify my shit, man. Maybe not.
He hates it. I'm certified before him.
Facts. No. So, yeah, but my IG is real deal _Francis. Yeah, just back in the gym with Sate. Happy to be there. Keep a lookout for the new episodes for the chat room. We hope some really dope guests coming on, so look forward to that. Also, the last episode we had the shoe giveaway, so tune into that one. Yeah, man, we're just out here grinding.
For sure. And make sure to check me out on Instagram and Twitter at The Senator. Don't forget to check out the Not So Soft podcast. Comes out every Friday with myself, Nino Rockwell, and Kino the Great. Don't forget to check out the Chatroom Podcast on Instagram at the.chatroompod. If you like our episodes, make sure to email us your takes. If you have takes on anything, because we had some really good conversations this one, but I want to know what crate challenge was your favorite. I also want to know who would you make the replacement of Max Kellerman with. Let us know. So hit us up and hit us up on our in our email at thechatroompod@gmail.com and just let us know. We will definitely read it out on air for the next episode. And yes, don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, and share the Chatroom Podcast. Episodes drop every Tuesday. Gentlemen, we made it through. We
already know what coach's favorite crate challenge was.
We already know. Yeah, we already know.
Jasmine Banks, man.
Jeez.
We ain't gotta ask him too much questions about his own. We already know. But yeah, and this has been the Chatroom Podcast, your favorite baller's favorite podcast, and we are out.
Peace.